easements where sewer and storm easements actually exist. A manual push camera
is also necessary for inspecting damaged sewer laterals and sewer cleanouts. This camera can also be used to locate sewer lines, usually using a 512 hertz sonde that works with our existing locating equipment. This equipment records the footage to an internal or external hard drive and operates on lithium batteries, basically meaning AC or DC if no power is available. Funds for this purchase derived from the sewer capital that were redirected from the rehab of the existing crawler sewer camera system, which we've had in inventory for over 10 years. This is a far larger expense than the one being, that expense is being delayed in order to get this smaller unit. Again, this is a super useful tool for locating as well. As you can imagine, all of our sewer lines are plastic or VCP clay, and they cannot be located unless we insert a smaller camera like this that has the sonde meaning that we can locate that from a frequency above ground. So we put that in the line, we can locate above it with our existing equipment. So is there any questions on this unit? This unit is the lower bid at $11,640. Again, the funds are being derived from the delay of the rehab of our larger sewer crawler camera. Any questions?
Can I get a motion approving resolution number 2026-5, a resolution authorizing the purchase of the sewer inspection push camera for the sewer department?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to reports. I think it's fixed. All right. I gotta look up something real quick for my report. Yeah, okay. All right, I only have a few items here. Over the weekend, I heard of a few cars break in through the neighborhoods, Liberty Landing, Palomino, West Oaks and stuff like that. So make sure you guys are locking your cars if they're outside. And then if you have cameras on at night, please turn them on so it can help the police department. My next question, Kyle, is what is the agreement between the county and the city for Hunter's Bend for the grading and snow removal and all that? Kevin, can you help me with that one?
Hunter's Bend is in city limits. That is, at times the county can do us a favor, but for the most part, it's in our purview to maintain. Aware of the complaints up there. It is again a dirt road. We're gonna do what we can. Last fall we added some rock. We're gonna have to add more rock to that as well and regrade. But the sewer department is currently stretched out as much as we can. We're doing as much as we can right now. We typically don't maintain dirt roads yet until it dries out. But it will be serviced just like it always does. I saw the pictures, there are potholes, absolutely, and that's part and parcel to dirt road maintenance, but we're gonna have to add rock again and grade it, but we just have not. It could snow. That's where I'm going with this. Like, we could literally get snow in 2 weeks. I know it's wonderful weather, but typically we're not gonna get in detail on dirt roads for at least another month until we're out of the snow season.
You don't have to wait 2 weeks. Coming Saturday.
Yeah.
There you go. So
You got Nate for Grasky, you can't be snowing.
we're not gonna do deep dives on the dirt roads yet. There's, if we add any rock to it now, it's.
I don't think I would add rock to it now. I just, but what, have we heard anything from the county as far as their project, as far as paving any roads in our area?
I don't recall exactly what stretches are scheduled for their capital outlay this fiscal, but they're getting close to that area. That's certainly something Kevin can explore with the county if it makes sense to try and budget to pave some of those gravel roads. But obviously the priority that we've been focusing is the rehabilitation and rehab of existing paved streets. We do have obviously a couple sections of gravel that eventually we'll try and take off that gravel list and move to a paved surface, but that'll take a little more heavy planning and outlay than just coming in with a mill and overlay project. I'll leave it to Kevin to kind of explore that with the county and try and figure out something that might
Yeah,
make sense for future plans. Obviously, the county's prerogative is to pave every county road in the county, so they slowly chip away at that on a yearly basis. I think the last time we revisited, there was a bit of a challenge in trying to get on a cooperative contract with them to do that, but we'll continue to explore that as a potential option to drive down some costs on trying to pave some of our existing gravel roads. The big issue from a maintenance perspective is the ditching of those roads. I think Hunter Bend is a prime example where you really just don't have sufficient ditch. So you've got a lot of that water and moisture that just sits on that road deck at all times.
Maybe we'll reach out to the county commissioner.
Yeah, the crown of the road needs to be reestablished as well. If we attempted to scarify it, basically, to grade it, it's just gonna bounce because there isn't enough road base there to scarify, so.
All right.
so-
And then last year we did a great job on curb and gutter on the projects last year. When will that start off this year?
In a matter of weeks.
Matter of weeks?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
We're in contact with the contractor. He said he's gonna finish that contract by the turn of the FY, so he absolutely is tracking on that, so he will return.
And then I noticed you fixed the sidewalks in Justin. Great job over there doing that. And I noticed that we got some paint on the hair studio next door.
Yep.
We're
Yep,
gonna do that
working with
one.
them. They're next.
They're next.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, sir. That's my report. City administrator report.
I sent out an email already, but just as a reminder, you have the annual member meeting and awards for the Southern Boone Chamber coming up on March 11th from 5 to 7:30 at the Hartsburg Grand. If you'd like to go to that, let us know so we can get you signed up to go. Other than that, had a good day down in Jefferson City with Alderman Turner. We went to the 56th annual Missouri Municipal League Legislative Conference. Spent the lunch hour down there, meeting with some of the other local elected officials, as well as hearing from Missouri Municipal League on relevant legislative updates and their lobbying efforts on behalf of municipalities in Missouri. Alderman Turner and myself also spent a good deal of time at the Capitol. We were able to spend some time with Alderman Beal. We were able to get meetings with Representative Martin, ran into Senator Weber as well. So had some good conversations about all things happening in Boone County and most specifically the needs of Ashland. So good use of our afternoon down there. Recommend if you have the availability to go to that conference in the future to please be sure to let us know to sign you up when that comes about. It's every February. Usually falls on the same Tuesday as our second meeting of the month. Short commitment, check in at 11, usually home by 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending on how long we spend up at the Capitol Complex meeting with our elected officials. So good information to be had. I'll send out an update, just some of the legislative priorities for Missouri Municipal League, just so you're kind of tracking on some of the efforts that they're working on our behalf.
All right. City attorney report.
I do have a couple things. First of all, glad to be back. For those of you all who haven't met me, I'm Nathan Nicholas. I'm the head of our Jeff City office, which is smaller now, but we still have 2 attorneys there. I'll probably be covering all of your all's meetings from now on. That's kind of how we decided to work it out. Couple things. First of all, legislation. Taxes is a big issue in front of the legislator. They want to cut taxes, which, everybody, yay, cut taxes, except that's the revenue that we use to fund things. And the state always has sort of a desire, rather than to cut their own taxes, to cut our taxes. So they're looking at property taxes, which is not a huge issue for the city, it's bigger for the school districts. But they're also looking at raising the sales taxes. So the state doesn't have a sales tax, which is 4%, I think. And so they're looking right now at cutting exemptions on that. But I think down the road, if they eliminate the income tax, they're gonna have to raise up the sales tax to make up for that. That will make it more difficult for us, to get any new sales taxes passed, because it just pushes up that whole number. Also, interesting case came out just yesterday. I think there's different names of these. I call them the gray machines. Talking about these fake slot machines. And so a federal court in Missouri has ruled that they are illegal. And so that's great news. We can kind of maybe think about what we want to do. Attorney General Hanaway announced today that she's going to start cracking down on them. You know, she's starting in Dunklin County, which I don't really even know where Dunklin County
Kennett,
is.
Missouri.
Boot Hill.
Boot Hill.
Boot Hill.
Yeah, Kennett, Missouri.
Oh, okay,
Starting at the bottom and working up.
so,
We're in the middle, so we got a lot.
yeah, I don't know, we may want to think about, you know, what we want to do, and, you know, we'll kind of keep an eye on that case. At the same time, the legislature is working on their own legislation on those grain machines. And their idea is the opposite, which is to legalize them and tax them. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. I think our advice, you know, has always been for you guys not to really go after those, because it's just too expensive to take on the kind of money that they have. But now there may be more people doing that, maybe a possibility of joining in on something, so we're gonna keep our eyes open for all of that. And that's about it.
Thanks, sir. Welcome back. Police Chief Muffley.
Trivia pack tonight. Nate and I were high school classmates, and I was born in Dunklin County, so I know right where Dunklin County is.
Where was you born?
Kennett, but mom and dad lived in Hornersville.
My
Kennett.
grandparents
If you go,
lived in Kennett.
if you step outside of my grandparents' house in Hornersville and throw a rock south, it lands in Arkansas. That's how far down it is.
I
So
wouldn't tell too many people that, bud.
we thrive on being underestimated. I'll tell you that. So I would, the other thing about cars, we still struggle. I'm begging people when they find people that rifle through their cars at night to call them and report that stuff. They love to report it on Facebook. They hate to report it to the police, and I can understand that. We had an incident this weekend that was super suspicious. I mean, begged a 911 call, and it was reported in person 2 days later. And we can't do anything with it, right? And at that point, nothing. The night of, you make that phone call, it goes out on computer screens to police cars all over the county. Who knows what else it's potentially linked to out of our jurisdiction. All sorts of productive things can happen with that if people would just report stuff and help us track things. And so I'd say, even if you don't think anything of value, if your car's been gone through, you need to report that, you know. And so we don't have much else. You don't have our packet, right? We have our, do we have the
No,
packet?
it's in there.
You guys, okay, yeah, please, the report's in the packet.
It just wasn't mine, I got left out.
We're going to, we did kind of an abbreviated version of that we put out on Facebook. We're gonna start doing that every month also. I've already got a little feedback on that, positive, thankfully. And not a lot else that I can think of right now. I think we're holding steady, so. Still trying to recruit, got one opening, and again, hopefully have 2 coming up.
Chief, it's worth noting, I'm from the county, just north of Dunklin County, so
Okay.
I'm not too far from Arkansas either, I just don't tell people.
Well, see, you know, the old standard line, now this is dangerous, but there was, at one point, the education department, state of Missouri and state of, my mom's family's from Arkansas, dad's from Missouri. The education departments were collaborating, they were considering just drawing that state line right across, cutting off the Boot Hill, making it part of Missouri, raise the average IQ of both states, so.
You heard that the toothbrush was actually invented in Arkansas.
Not the teeth brush.
If it invented anywhere else, it would have called it a toothbrush.
Community development report, please.
It's in your packet. Anybody have any questions?
Treasurer's month report.
I do not have a report. I'll be talking enough over the next couple of weeks. You'll probably be sick of me, so.
All right, moving on to Board of Aldermen. Alderman Lewis.
I was born in Arkansas, but I don't have any other comments.
All right. Alderman Colbert.
No report.
Alderman Bill, or Alderman Turner. Yeah, I just want to reiterate that Kyle and I went down to the Capitol today. I want to thank Representative Martin for his time. He stepped off the House floor to meet with us. Also like to thank Senator Weber for taking time to meet with us, actually on the Senate floor, which was really neat. I I also got to take Kyle into the governor's office for the first time, so that was nice. Governor wasn't there. We're not that cool. But, and then I just want to thank city staff for working on this budget report. I know that takes a lot of your guys' time. We really appreciate the non-political way of saying this would be how you really dumbed it down for people like me who grew up close to Arkansas.
I just want to say that acknowledgement to the work for the cities, that the city staff does is greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
All in credit.
Well, I was born in East St. Louis, so what you got to say?
No comment.
So I got an email from Allison McAdams pertaining to the potholes on Pacer Drive that I had brought up before. And she's wanting an answer, and I don't know how to answer her.
I didn't hear the name of the street now.
Pacer.
Pacer.
Pacer, yeah, large scale potholing operations really haven't kicked off yet. Again, we're still a little bit earlier in the year. As we talked about earlier, we're doing concrete, while the weather's good enough to do that. But that will begin. We've done some on Henry Clay, but, the large scale pothole operations haven't even begun yet, because we're so early in the year.
Okay.
We're gonna let them get worse, see what I'm saying, before we go out wholesale and basically go through every street and patch.
There's three. There's,
It's at the end there.
when you turn into it, and then the one right in the middle, and then there's two down on the other end by Justin, on Justin Drive, so.
Yes, ma'am, we'll get them.
And you got a contact with the state there on the roundabouts. I mean,
Yeah.
you won't ever catch me riding a motorcycle, but some of the cracks are getting big enough to where they could,
Yeah, those really opened up in the last snow push,
yeah,
ripped out some patches.
I ain't coordinated enough. I won't be on a motorcycle.
I do have a line of communications with them, yeah, I can throw them drop them a line. Okay.
Moving on to general comments from the public. At this time, anybody from the public like to make a comment to the Board of Aldermen? Please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Megan Hernandez, and I'm here on behalf of our business and other businesses. Home address is off of Crump Lane, but this will be pertaining to 503 South Henry Clay, which is where we have Jose Jalapenos. I tried to put this into a 3-minute overall, so excuse me if it's too much terminology in 1 second, but there's a lot of information here. So growing forward means building economic stability from the beginning. Ashland has reached an economic threshold in many industries. Although surrounding areas are developing, but those areas are not yet filled with permanent residents to help build the economic market. It takes a required amount of people to business ratio in order for a business to establish and sustain a market. Simply put, not enough people to support multiple businesses of the same venture. In order for our city of Ashland to continue growing forward, we should consider a strategic plan to balance the growth and stability of both the residential and business population that is currently established and those looking in our joint market. Establishing a healthy business growth within the city is codifying provisions, meaning new ordinances into the existing codes. One way to protect your town's economic health is to limit how many standardized lookalike businesses can open so the local economy stays diverse, resilient, and uniquely local. These practices are common in larger cities, expanding into suburbs and small towns preserving their historical character. A smaller town has a finite amount of disposable income. When there is not an ordinance that protects multiple or same in likenesses of businesses from opening, the finite income within a city gets stretched out and dilutes the existing pool. This does not generate more sales revenues for the city, rather than stretching out the same results, along with harming the outreach the businesses provide back into the community. Missouri shows a 68% of money spent at locally owned businesses stay within the community. National chains within those communities only stay around 43%. The multiplier range goes to can recirculate between 2 and 4 times more than a local economy than money spent non-local. That means that Ashland relies on 25% more of all revenue from a small business and 2 times more the circulation rate versus a chain. The concern is not anti-business, but pro-stability. With our growing community, we have and will continue to grow as both residents and business in our community. But without the proper planning and ordinances to protect our current small businesses, we won't be a strong economic development, rather a downfall that trickles into our schools, charitable causes, and community gatherings. With each business that turns over in our community, the reputation of our town is growing with the risk of being made known that it cannot support economic growth. We also risk that if a small business cannot sustain and be protected in our community, Ashland will become a corporate box of pass-throughs. Sorry, trying to get through all that. Basically, I am proposing that we start with our chamber, our Ashland Betterment Coalition, and the Southern Boone Economic Development Council as a forum to reach into our businesses that we currently have. And from there, we create that forum to get feedback on how we would like to see our current businesses and how they're established and what they would like to see within the community and how we can basically adjust the application process for new businesses within the community. Instead of the business licensing and application being an afterthought, kind of at the end of someone's venture into the city, it would be at the forefront, like a business review. And again, this is very common in towns that are preserving historical culture or also cities that are doing suburbs. So these provisions already exist. It would just be how can we apply it to Ashland so that we grow diversely and keep that money circulating versus multiple that just spreads us out and tears us down. Any questions?
If you'd like, you can
There's a
leave,
lot of information. I'm sorry.
if you'd like, you can leave your prepared statement with Darla and she'll email it to the board.
That's fine.
Yeah. Did a good job on 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, I you said 3 minutes. I was putting it in there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other comments from the public? All right, can I get a motion to go into closed session to pursue chapter 610.021 legal action, cause an action litigation involving government law. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Covert?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Ravenscraft?
Aye.
That's a closed session. All right, this time we are back into open session and we have nothing to report. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? All second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.